Vincent McClean, a retired Portsmouth police officer, is on trial for voluntary manslaughter. This is for the death of a 28-year-old Willie Marable that took place 5 years ago. Now, by definition, this means Vincent McClean allegedly intentionally killed Willie Marable. Here's where the prosecution's case gets confusing. McClean is not being tried for what he did, but for what he allegedly failed to do on the scene. 10 on your side was on the scene when several officers responded to a report of a home invasion on Navajo Trail after a suspect, later identified as Willie Marable, refused orders to stop. An unnamed officer opened fire. 5 years later, following a state police investigation, veteran officer Vincent McClean, now retired, is on trial for voluntary manslaughter. But McClean is not the officer who fired the fatal shots. Community advocate Earl Lewis finds the case confounding.
What about the officer who actually shot him? Because the officer who shot him walks away.
Prosecutors are asking a 12-person jury to convict McClean, who was the supervisor on the scene, claiming he did nothing to save the life of a man who was shot in the back, hands, and arms. On day one of testimony, the jury and the victim's mother had to screen graphic police body camera video and audio that captured the last moments of Marable's life.
Willie, can you hear me, honey?
Officer McClean is heard saying, quoting here, "He's breathing, he's good," end of quote. Later, paramedics arrive and begin CPR in the ambulance. The prosecution plans to present an expert witness who will say, had officers administered CPR, Marable would have survived. Here's where the prosecution's evidence may self-destruct. The officer who was closest to the victim and not McClean testified that he and other officers are not trained on how to perform CPR on a person who is still breathing. The video also captures audio of McClean calling for an ambulance.
This officer who maybe didn't get protocol right, he get caught up in the middle of it.
Later, defense attorneys are expected to tell the jury McClean is not a doctor, and like most officers, he is not qualified to determine when a gunshot victim faces life-threatening injuries. 10 on your side will follow this trial to find out what a jury has to say about the case.